Hello, Walker Hayes. Welcome to Music News and Rumors. Thanks for getting on here with me today. How are you?
Hey, hi, I'm good, buddy.
How does it feel to finally be releasing a new project? It's been a while.
Yeah, man, honestly, I think I speak on behalf of most artists. By the time you actually get to release something, you're just about tired of it. You're ready to, you have nitpicked it up and down, you have explored every crevice of every song, and it's good to just let it go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And uh, and there's also, I'll tell you what feels good to me is that I know, I feel like I'm on this. I don't say this in like a yay me way, but I've been around for a while, and I feel like I'm a pretty self-aware artist as far as my music is concerned. I can't call the massive hits, but I know when a song is just, hey, we're just putting it out there to exist. It's for a niche audience who may be able to relate or whatever. But there's two songs, well, three that I'm really excited to watch the people react. I want to see their faces when we sing it live, and I want to hear the tears they cry, when they hear Briefcase or Fancy Like. I can't wait to play that one live. It just feels like, okay, this is my first release after the year of COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that there's something about that that's just hopefully that release combines with people's love of live music, and um, I just feel there just feels like there's a momentum swing with this project.
So you were talking about Fancy Like, and so I got the EP a few weeks ago, and I've just been listening to it nonstop. And
Oh,
so
good. What's your
Fancy
favorite?
Like, Fancy Like is my favorite one. Like I
Okay.
just think it's like so real and
Yeah.
relatable because it's real stuff that people really do.
Right.
So I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
My
that's my
family,
favorite.
we're so funny. We're like, if we're on a road trip, we're always like, well, let's stop and get a bite to eat, And my wife and I will be like, do you want to sit down? Or are we doing fast food? And it's always we just get fast food or Sonic, kind of the halfway.
Yeah.
But if we're like, let's take our time. Let's go all out, and let's get fancy. It's Applebee's.
Yeah.
And if we sit down, man, it's gonna be three course. Like we're going loaded potato skins, we're going steak, and then we're gonna get some kind of dessert, and
I
so
gotta get a
that's like,
dessert.
yeah, and so that's fancy for that's a
Mhm.
big night, and
Yeah.
I love you saying that. I think that's everybody. I even think people with like a ton of money don't really fine dine every single night.
Yeah.
They go to Ruby Tuesdays and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, I think that song's gonna connect with people, and people are gonna have a lot of fun with it. And sonically, every now and then, man, you write a song and the sound of the track just meets it, and it's like boom. It's I've never I've never felt so cool or swaggy saying the word Applebee's as I do in that song. I'm like,
Yeah.
Applebee,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my favorite, and I love country stuff too. It's a gem. I mean, I'm obsessed with that
Yeah.
song. And then what else did you like? Briefcase?
I loved Briefcase.
Thanks,
That was
man.
so good. And like
Thank
the way that you and Lori McKenna sound on that is so good.
Dude. Holy cow. It's funny. She's so humble. She after she did it, she was like, if you want me to do it again, or I stink at that. And I was like, you're insane. I was
Yeah.
like, you absolutely crushed it. And every time we got it mixed, they would just say, hey, nothing wrong with this song. Just turn Lori up. We want to hear more.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped about it. And I love, man, the just from a lover of songwriting myself, I'm really proud of every lyric, on the EP. I think that it's all really tight, and I'm proud of them.
Every song is so unique. So you get like a variety of Walker Hayes across the whole EP.
I
And so I
love that.
think that's what makes it perfect as far as like giving you a sample of everything.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that. That was kind of our goal. Over COVID, I was turning in 5 songs a week, and I noticed that my team, they responded to all sides. Whether it was country stuff, just crazy, or if it was Briefcase, just real
Mhm.
deep, or if it was just kind of your mainstream cry. It's the good, easy love song. And it was a phone call we had with Marissa at Monument, and I was like, man, I wish fans kind of like the 8 tracks. I wish fans could hear this. Just all sides of me, and because I think that each song makes the other one better. You know,
Yeah,
and so because if you're like you hear Briefcase and then you hear Fancy, like you're like, wow, the same dude did this. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. And so yeah, man, that was really the meaning of this project. Was just, hey, it's not an album, but let's give people a handful of everything you can do in a week.
I liked in Briefcase the metaphor that you have between the briefcase and the guitar case. I just thought that was such a clever comparison.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I
So
appreciate that. Yeah, I lost my dad March 22nd of this year, and one of the hardest things I've ever done is my mom asked me to clean his truck out, and when I was carrying his briefcase in the house, she and I crossed paths in the hallway, and we just both lost it. And it was that was him, man. Wherever that briefcase was, so was he. And that's kind of like my guitar. I mean, that's that line in the song that says every time I pick it up, my kids say, "Daddy, put it down." It's true, man. I mean, they know that that's what takes care of them, financially, but it's also what takes me away from them. And so they don't like the guitar, man.
I liked the part where I walk like him, I talk like him.
It's funny, man. Yeah, whether you want to be like your parents or not, there comes a time where you look in the mirror and you go, "Dang, I am just like him." And if you lie to yourself, you're like, "Nah." Your friends and your family are glad to tell you,
Yeah, they do.
you're just like your dad. And
Yeah,
so it's good. It's good when you can kind of smile at that and go, "Okay, it's not so bad."
yeah. Having 6 kids, how do you manage to work songwriting and everything into your busy schedule?
Well, I mean, honestly, with the 6 kids thing, it's really been pleasant at home. I we have an interesting schedule at my house that I have to give Laney credit that really helps me is my kids stay up really late. And so I have from about 7 or 8 in the morning until about 11 with a quiet house. They don't even wake up. And she homeschools. So I get up and I start writing, about 9, 10, or 11. And I did a lot of it via Zoom this way, and I have a little office here. And I actually prefer to be near my family. I would dare say I'm a better creator um, near the chaos, if that makes any sense. When I get out on the road and I'm away from my family, I'm not as sane. I really do well near them, and I found that out this past year. I love writing, and I forgot how much I love it because when you're on the road, um, last thing you want to do when you get to the hotel room is write another song. You're tired, and so being home and being rested has been awesome for me, and I think you can hear it in my songs. I think you can, I think sometimes you just get in a rut, and I think this time being home and kind of appreciating touring again and really diving into lyrics and songs and writing with some new writers and making some new relationships that has really improved my writing.
One, I think you touched on people's appreciation for touring. I think after this, once we finally get to go back to concerts, I think everyone's just going to really appreciate live music and getting to be part of that atmosphere a whole lot more.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I noticed it last night. It was almost like the entire crowd, including us on stage, we didn't know what to do. It was like we had forgotten what to do. You know, it just felt so good, and it was weird too. It was like, wow, you know, I didn't see that coming. Was just kind of looking around and going, man, we get close together at shows, you know, and I was like, is that you could tell some people were a little freaked out, you know, and then some people were just diving in, you know,
Yeah.
and so I think that's what we're gonna get. But you're exactly right. It's, you know, when you get something stolen from you for a year, you will appreciate it for a minute, you know, and it will be good. It's good that we made it through it. I think we're gonna have some crazy fun festivals, and I hope people will remain um, just precious with the live touring, and that they won't take that for granted. You know, I remember the last time my biggest show ever was I had played large crowds, larger than this, but one show I'll never forget is the week after the Vegas shooting. I played a show opening for Thomas Rhett in Virginia, and 22,000 people were there to see us open, and that was insane. And you know, it was because they had something threatened the live shows, and so people really showed up. And so I'm hoping that the coming out of COVID will have a similar effect. You know, people will be there for the whole thing, and they'll listen to the opening acts, and they'll stay the entire night and just soak it all up.
Well, that's one thing that's always bothered me is people don't appreciate the opening acts. But like, if you're like me, you want your money's worth. You're going to see the
I
whole thing.
know. I know, and if you're like me, which I know you are in this respect, the opening acts are those gym. I mean,
Yeah.
and I love to find somebody early. You know, that's fun,
Mhm.
and to watch them grow. And to be like, hey, I heard them 5 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
I remember that with I heard Amos Lee a long, long time ago, and yeah, I think he was opening for Ben Harper, and we left, and we were like, oh my gosh, that guy. You know, I mean, Ben Harper was great, but I was
Mhm.
like, who is that guy? You know, and so yeah, I love those moments, man.
So you said like performing at the basement, was that your first show back live?
Yeah, we sold it out, and it was the first band show in 400 and something days.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd done acoustic shows here and there, but that was the first full band show. I mean, and it really was. It was like, wow, I forgot how to do that. I felt great and it was fun, but I just didn't feel like I ever got in a rhythm, you know. And but yeah, I mean, we have another one tomorrow, and then we have some festivals this weekend. So kind of getting back into it, man. I mean, it's a lot though. I woke up this morning drained. I was like, man, I can't believe I used to do that like 5 nights a week, you know?
Yeah. You forget how
Yeah,
it drains you.
it was. Yeah, I was tired. I've had a good time writing. I've written with a lot of other artists, Alana Springsteen, Kylie Morgan, Nikita Carmen, Tiger Lily, Jordan Davis. Um, Jake and I collabed. I've written some stuff that other artists are kind of hanging on to possibly cut themselves. So that's always kind of going on also.
Collaboration origin stories are always like the coolest things for me to hear. So how did the Jake Owen collab come about?
So man, this is an awesome story. I love telling this because really it has nothing to do with me. It just has to do with Jake. But about 5 years ago now, I think, um, before I had gotten signed by Shane. I was working at Costco, and my family, you know, we were, we weren't like about to go home just honestly because we're ignorant. We nothing was happening musically, and money was super tight, and we had basically gotten dropped by everybody in town, and then we were struggling, but we had a Jake Owen song, like one of my songs. It was called "Song in Your Pocket," and it was going to be cut by Jake. And so, for a aspiring songwriter artist, this is life changing. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
that can take you, you get a Jake Owen single and it's on the radio. You go from no name to like, oh, you're a writer, and that could carry you 5 years, in this town. And so Laney and I, man, we were just hanging on to that thread. And it turned out Jake cut the song. It sounded amazing, but it didn't fit the rest of the stuff. And it didn't make it on his album. And I'd had that happen many times over the years. But Jake Owen was the first artist that ever, and to this day, that ever called me and apologized that song didn't make the album. And I was, as I got off the phone that day, I just was like, man, what a hard phone call to make, but he did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it didn't make me feel better. I was like, well, we're still broke, but I was like, what a guy. Like I was just so grateful. I was so thankful that he did that. And maybe his parents raised him right. I don't know, but he apologized, and ever since then, I've just, that'll give you a lot of respect for a guy. You're like, man, thanks for having the guts to break my heart in a classy way. And so I felt for him, for having to do that. So that made an impact, and I couldn't be more excited to collab with him. Honestly, the idea came from Shane, and basically Shane just heard the song and he was like, "This sounds like Jake Owen," And I was like, "Yeah, it does." And so Shane sent it to Jake, and Jake said, "Are you pitching this for me to cut or to collab with Walker? Because either way, I'm in." So that was pretty cool.
Then what if we did with Carly Pearce? How did she get on that?
So that was another Shane connection. Her and Shane have been writing a lot lately, and Carly and we both put out. I put out "You Broke Up with Me" right after, literally like months after she had "Every Little Thing." So our careers really just kind of skyrocketed at the same time. So I've always, those are people who are in your class, kind of, you
Yeah.
watch each other side by side. And I'll tell you another thing. I don't know how to say it to do her justice, but I think Carly Pearce's voice is underrated. Just not necessarily from like a chop standpoint. I think every female artist has something to offer, but just the texture of her voice is very identifiable and pleasant, and it never hits that like you're yelling at me thing. Like I don't know, it's very smooth, and uh, it's just she just has such a womanly, great texture voice. I don't know how to say it, and so yeah, I wanted someone, obviously strategically, it's nice to have someone who's singing on it, who's killing it right now, and brings positive attention to the song. But um, I also wanted somebody that I enjoyed the texture, the element of her vocal that she brings to the song. There's something grown up about her voice, and steady and just like confident, that I love. And again, yeah, you just hear it. Like she literally says, "What if we did?" And you know who it is.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Um, I don't know if I could say, what if we did?" And people would be like, "Who is that?" You
Yeah.
know. And so that's kind of how Jake is too. He's
Mhm.
like, "What if we did?" And you're like, that's Jake.
Yeah.
Um, so I think some of the biggest stars have that quality, and she killed it. She in the studio, you didn't wouldn't give her much direction. I was like, right here, just do your thing here, and she would just do this run, and I was like, yep, that's it. Keep that next.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it felt the whole time. So
So you got to be in the studio with her for that?
yeah, I was in the studio with her, and I was there when Jake did his thing. So that was cool. And instead of just like sending it to him and them doing it, it was neat to
Yeah.
all be in the room together. That was on the tail end, kind of right when things began to open up a little bit. You
Hmm.
know.
What song did you work on first? Which one did you finish first?
Well, the first song we finished was "I Hope You Miss Me," and it was interesting. "I Hope You Miss Me" and "Cry" kind of got the ball rolling on the project. And I'm so grateful to my team. They just, you know, I'm not, um, I don't pick the songs really well. What I do a good job is just give you options. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's kind of writer I am. Is like, you want an option for this line, I'll give you 10. I don't know which one's the best, and I trust my team. And my manager Rob just was drawn to the chorus of "I Hope You Miss Me" from the day we started messing with it. And so I was like, okay, I'll finish that. Let's work with that. So we finished that, and it was special. I loved it. I love the flow. It's a song I never get tired of.
Oh yeah,
And
me neither.
yeah, it's weird. It's like, it's crazy. I don't have a lot of those, but that song, it's like every time I listen, I'm like, I think I like it better. Um, and then "Cry" came along, and I was like, I love this. It's very personal. It's fun. My kids love it. Definitely leans on that pop side
Yeah.
of things, but we had those two, and so we just kind of were running with those, and then "Briefcase" fell out of the sky, and then I think, "What if we did?" "Country Stuff" and "Fancy Like" were next in that order of creation. And "Country Stuff" was turned in on a Friday, and "Fancy Like" was written the next Monday. And I truly believe that it's because when we turned in "Country Stuff," I don't think we were ready for everybody to love it. I think we were ready for them to pitch it, but they all loved it. And I was like, well, if y'all love that, then let's have some fun today. And that's when we wrote "Fancy Like." So it's weird how each song kind of led to the next
Yeah.
one, and then all of a sudden we were like, well, there's our project.
And whenever it does that drop into Applebee's, like
That's it.
that's the moment. Like,
That's the thing. I
yeah.
know. What's funny is when we were working with that, we were like, do we need to fill that drop a little bit with stuff? And I would put headphones on my kids' face and play right before the chorus, because they had already heard the work tape, so
Yeah.
like they knew something was coming. And it was funny, their faces, they were like, and then when that chorus hit, they were like, and all six of them, man, it was so hilarious watching them. And I was like, well, let's just leave it like that, because I was like, if it makes your face do that, then that's what I want it to do to everybody.
So Lori McKenna is like one of the most in-demand songwriters. So how did you get her on here?
Well, man, she is super. Well, she is the most in demand songwriter. She is also like the sweetest soul on the planet. And so I had always, like, once the time opened up in COVID, I had a meeting with my publisher, and they said, who are some of your dream writes these days, and of course I said Lori McKenna, and man, that was the first time I'd ever met her. We wrote via Zoom, just like this, and I swear, dude, the Lord must have dropped that idea on me because it's a good idea. and I trust me, I don't just come up with ideas like that. I think that was inspired. That was written about 3 months before my dad died, and that was written a month before we knew he was going down. So I really
I
just
know
think,
you wrote it before that.
yeah, I think the Lord just put that on my heart, and I think Lori just got it. When I was like, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and we just wrote it, man. It's crazy. Like a song like Craig, that I did that alone. That song took me 3 months. Just I would dive in and dissect, and then I'd put it aside. Kind of get frustrated, put it aside. Briefcase fell out in a matter of 2 hours. Just hanging, and I did the work tape, sent it back, and everybody just lost their flipping minds. They just loved it. So
You've worked with really great people so far, even just on this EP. You've got Jake Owen, Carly Pearce, Lori McKenna. So who do you have in mind that you want to work with next?
shoot, man. I love Kane Brown. I'd love to do something just crazy with him. Maybe not aim, just do something insane. Um, there's a couple Christian groups that I'd love to, maybe do some stuff with. Torrin Wells and I have written a little bit. That'd be kind of sick. But yeah, man, I mean, I've I don't know why I've appreciated um, just the Nashville community. I don't know why. I love all genres of music, but there's a uh, not family, but there's a pureness to the music, I think, that's created in Nashville that's kind of, I wouldn't say lost in other cities, but it's just prevalent here. And just the song, like, we all just wake up and we just want to write the best song, and it has a lot to do with where our hearts are, and that's cool. I think, to me, that's the best way to write, and that's what the world needs. I think the world needs less contrived stuff and more depth and reality. Again, like Fancy, like, it's not a deep song, but it's about a strip mall town, and that's where we all grow up.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't grow up in the middle of Hollywood, or on wherever Broadway in New York. We all just grow up in these little broken towns, and we just do our best. And I think that's where I've enjoyed writing with people where their souls, the soul of their song starts there. And that's kind of cool, man.
And I think a lot of times people put this facade over themselves. It's not always nice clothes and chandeliers. Like there's
Right. I
real
love
there's
that.
real people stuff going on.
I love that. Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
right. I think you're exactly right. And what's sad is, when that's the perception, sometimes you buy into it. You're like, you almost want to hold up this fortress that looks like chandeliers and nice clothes. And I think this year has shown us that now you can let people behind the curtain, and life goes on.
Mhm.
And there doesn't need to be this facade. Like, hey, I'm just a dude, with kids, and I go to Applebee's just like you
Yeah.
know, and I will,
Frosty.
like, yeah, it's like, if this song goes number one, I'll still eat Frosties and fries.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
And I think people appreciate that, and they're interested in that, and it's it connects them. You know, they're like, oh, I could have a beer with that dude. You know,
Yeah.
and so yeah,
So you've worked with Shane McAnally for a while now. So you've probably by now grown to learn more about each other, like as artists, songwriters, and
yeah.
just people. So he's like, I think he's one of the most talented people out there. So what is that partnership between y'all like when y'all collaborate?
Well, I will agree with you. Um, a of all, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody more talented than Shane. Um, I love Shane as a person, first and foremost. He and I, we have magic moments together where we work surprisingly well. And then we also have moments where we don't work so well together. And one thing I have come to appreciate about Shane is his loyalty and his forgiveness and his mercy and his understandingness. It's nice to have a leader who has been an artist, who has endured persecution for what he creates, the way he creates it, the style of which he creates. I think Shane could be honored in the Hall of Fame, and it still wouldn't really suffice, as to the impact his heart and his mind has had on people around the world, And it is truly an honor to be known um, and loved by a guy like him. And again, I stress known. I mean, Shane knows all my flaws. Um, he knows my pride. You know, he knows my bullheadedness. Um, but he remains, 100% behind what I'm doing, and I don't know why sometimes. I mean, I'm definitely a guy who tends to push people away sometimes, and he refuses, and I love him for that, and I'm so grateful uh, just to be under his wing, at Smack and Monument, and yeah, my gratitude is really indescribable. But I love Shane hands down. If I've got an idea that is precious to me, he's he's the first one I see if they're available. You know,
Hmm.
and then sometimes I can't wait. And I've got to get it out. But he is the best writer I know, hands down. For instance, on Fancy Like, it was Shane's idea, um, to drop out that chorus, and that's just and again, Fancy Like will probably be the biggest song I've ever had, you know, and it's a lot of it is because of that, you know,
Yeah.
and, I feel like he's one of those people that comes up with those signature things that separate a song from, hey, that's really badass already, but he comes in and he just snaps, and all of a sudden it's not just badass, it's like it's gonna feed us, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
and so he has a gift. I mean, he really has a gift, and I think it's from the Lord. I think homie just God just was like, yo, I'm gonna give this little dude named Shane a lot of talent,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's just, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the coolest hearts beating on the planet.
When he's just got that, he's not afraid to make the bold choice. So you
Oh,
can just tell when there's a Shane McAnally song on.
oh yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean, from my perspective, I mean, I've been around town 10 years, so when he walked in rooms and said, I just signed Walker Hayes I'm gonna make a record on. And man, I'm sure people looked at him like he had 8 heads. I mean, but he was like, let's go. We're gonna, and that, it's almost like that. Again, I go back to, I have a feeling he heard that to his face
Yeah.
about himself many times. And so
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like he thrives on finding people like me and going, let's go. Like, I see it. I see what you've got. Now let's show the world, you know?
Yeah.
And no matter how hard it is, um, he just keeps going.
In your song, Country Stuff, you and Jake Owen kind of go back and forth about who's more country. So what do you have to say to people who don't think your music is country enough?
I don't have any argument with people who don't think my music is country enough. I grew up in my opinion, my humble opinion, there are so many kinds of country, you know, and I would classify myself as a Southern boy, you know. Um, grew up going to Crystal, you know, hanging out at Colonel Dixie every night after the football game, following everybody around in trucks, going to a field, drinking beer, listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony and Hank Williams together. That was my life growing up. But yeah, I don't have it. I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. I would hope their opinion. I try to when I listen to music, I try to just listen with an open mind. That's kind of my. I feel like that's going to be my fan base. Is you know all of the stuff and country stuff is true. So I can't.
Yeah.
I mean I can't like argue with somebody, but I just you know I get it. I will say stylistically, I prefer some bump in the track. Like I grew up. I've always wanted bass in a track. I want like fancy like that drop. That does it for me. And
Yeah.
look, if you don't think that's country, then I don't want to be your kind of country. Like no offense,
Yeah.
but what's funny is, at the same time, I appreciate music without it. I'm just, if I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna sing it every night, I want it to drop. I want it to
Yeah.
slap. I want to drive through a drive-through and shake the restaurant. Like
Yeah.
that's that's just my style. And I get it. Maybe maybe George Strait didn't do it that way. That's all right. I get down on some George Strait.
Yeah.
I'm carrying your love with me. But I get this, and I'm sure I did this in my younger days, but I think most people, sometimes when you feel it's almost like if something kind of makes you want to like it, it can be, it can be threatening to the thing you like, and you kind of want to hate it. And then also, if if your music is a part of like your image or your reputation, you're probably going to tend to only like things that you think will make you cooler.
Yeah.
And I try to make my kid, I try to encourage my kids, don't do that. Like, just like what you like. And if somebody says it's cheesy, fight for it. Say, no, I like it.
Mhm.
Like, don't be you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't like it because everybody else does, and don't hate it because everybody else likes it. Just listen to it and say what you really think about it.
Yeah. Exactly. So I know this is a hard question, but which song
All right.
on this EP are you most excited for people to hear, and which one are you most proud of?
Uh, Whew. I am most excited for people to hear Fancy Like. I am most proud of Briefcase. And same thing. I think Fancy Like and country stuff for me. I'm ready for the world to hear those. I just really am. They both make me drive faster, and I truly believe there's a day where I'm gonna play a live show, and you won't even be able to hear me because everybody will be singing those songs.
I think
You
so
know?
too.
So those excite me very much.
Well, then I liked at the beginning of country stuff where you left in that part where you're giving notes on if I was Shane McAnally. So
Yeah,
what made you decide to leave that in? Because I
dude,
liked it.
that was completely spontaneous. I cut that vocal in my old house bedroom where we used to live, and that day I knew my team. I was like, they're gonna think this song is crazy. And so when I turned it on, I was feeling it, and I was like, yeah, if I was Shane McAnally, man, I'll tell you what I do. I'll tell you right here. I put a bang bang, and I was just joking,
Yeah.
and I thought for sure, man, I thought for sure my team would be like, hey, the song stinks, and you definitely need to take that first part out, and nobody ever said it, and it made it all the way to the record. So I'm so that honestly, man, the fact that that's on there, that shows you right there. I have hands down the coolest label in the world, because there ain't no other artist that would be able to do talk all that during the
Yeah.
song. It's crazy.
It just gave it so much personality and it showed the process behind it to get where it was, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
like
it was funny, man. Everybody was laughing at that part.
that. Your style is really a melting pot of styles and sounds. So which artists would you say have inspired you the most as an artist?
Um, Man, hmm. I would say, in my industry, I'm always inspired by what Sam Hunt does. I'm always inspired by Kenny Chesney, just as a business, just as everything. Um, I love Macklemore. I love the conversational nature of his lyrics, and that is one detail I really try to do is not write poetically, but say just like in country stuff. I One of my favorite things is you know guitar strings and dirt roads. Because
Yeah.
if I was talking to you, I'd be like, and
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. And so, but yeah, man. I mean those three. I love I love Pink. You ever get down on some Pink? Like I love some bold artists, who do things boldly, but they're not like bold for shock value. They're just like bold because that's what they were feeling. You know what I mean? Casey Musgraves is somebody that I get down on her music. Is I feel an authenticity when I listen to her. I'm trying to think of some people. Kane Brown again. Like he just seems like a dude. I don't really know him that well, but he seems like a dude who's just having a good time being him. You know, he's not putting on a facade, uh, trying to create a character. Really, he's just sometimes it'd be like that. So yeah, but those are a few.
And then you posted a few weeks ago how you and your family have been listening to Levitating by Dua Lipa and DaBaby.
Oh
What
yeah.
what are what are some other songs that you've just been loving?
Oh man, anything that blows up on TikTok, I've been looking for that. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. I love that. I want to take that and like remix it or something. but
That would be
uh,
cool.
but yeah, we have one of our. I don't like to say guilty pleasures because I don't know why you should feel guilty, but my daughter's obsessed with Why Don't We? And dude, I've been getting down on all their stuff. I've been getting down on Mercy Me's new album. It's freaking insane. I got to write with Bart, the lead singer
Oh, really?
from Mercy Me the other day, and man, their album is nuts, and Yeah, Almost Home. There's just some great songs on there. And then I also watched this movie about the song I Can Only Imagine. It
I haven't seen.
crushed. It crushed our family. It's an amazing movie. Go watch everybody go watch that movie. But yeah, man, just we've been getting down on that recently a lot.
I've always loved Mercy Me.
Yeah, dude. It's that dude's voice
Yeah.
is crazy, but that song I Can Only Imagine, it's got the most amazing story, man. You need to watch that movie. Seriously. Just go rent it,
Yeah.
$3.99. I'll
Yeah.
send you $4. And it's crazy, man. You'll be crying.
Yeah.
His testimony and his dad's testimony is insane. And the just talking about the power of a song and wow, just yeah, I could go on and on about that, man.
So I think we already get a pretty good vibe from Fancy Like, but what is a date night really like for you?
Yeah, I was about to say that's Laney and I are so low maintenance. Like this is funny. The other day we had a date. I went to the gym for like 30 minutes. She just sat in the car and read, and then we went to a sushi restaurant, and then we went to Costco, and we took sushi home to the kids. So we also let's see, we had a date um, the other day. We went to Sonic, and we got some blast. No, I got slushy with nerds, I think, and we just hang out. Anytime we consider a date just a moment of away from the kids. Not that we don't want to like get away from them. It's just we can't have one-on-one time, without getting away from them. So that's kind of a date for us, man. We'll kind of snatch dates here and there throughout the day. Yesterday, for instance, I had sound check at like 4, and then she picked me up at 5:30, and we just went to Starbucks and killed a couple hours before my show. And it was awesome, man. It was just what I needed, to get ready for the show and decompress and relax and be away from the stuff. So
Yeah.
really just a date for Lainey and I is just some time alone.
So this is probably hard because you start so many ideas and don't finish them. But how many songs would you say that you wrote like for this EP?
Oh man. Uh Shoot, I mean, there's no tell. I guess I'd probably write 75, 80, maybe close to 100 songs a year.
Yeah.
So, it's been a year of COVID, and, I've had Zooms 5 days a week, uh, and not all of them are for me, and for
Yeah.
my project. And some days you write two.
Hmm.
And then, so who knows? I guess about I mean, I'd say for this project, we probably wrote 35, 30, something like that. And some days you miss bad, you don't even remember those. But no, man. I
Songs
mean,
that don't make it, do you try to pitch them to other people?
oh yeah, yeah.
I just thought with your EP being called Country Stuff, I wanted to play this game with you where you have to
Okay,
pick
let's go.
kind of like this or that, where you have to pick between two things.
Okay, I love it.
Okay. So rocking chairs or folding chairs?
I'm gonna take a rocket chair.
Okay, hunting or fishing?
Hunting.
Blue jeans or sweatpants?
Blue jeans.
Whiskey or tequila?
Neither, cause I quit. But I'd say whiskey or tequila always made me sicker.
Cowboy boots or Jordans?
Oh, Jordans, dude. Let's go Jordans. Yeah.
Styrofoam cups or plastic cups?
I feel like I'm supposed to say neither because they're both bad for the environment, but I get my smoothies in styrofoam. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but it keeps it cooler longer.
It does. I
I
like
like styrofoam.
styrofoam. I like styrofoam.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A styrofoam. Got to get
Heck
styrofoam.
yeah. Sonic styrofoam. Yeah.
Yeah. Frosty or Oreo shake?
Woo. That's tough. I'm gonna go with Frosty. They're a little bit cheaper.
You got to get fries too.
Yeah, yeah.
Tesla or pickup truck?
Oh, pickup all the way.
Slow dance or
Yes.
Choctaw slide?
I say slow dance with Laney. Yeah,
That's all I got.
yeah. I love that though. Slow dance with cha cha slide. Cha cha now, yeah.
I think that just about does it with what I wanted to talk about.
Well, dude, thank you so
You're such a
much,
normal person. Like,
dude.
you're so real.
Heck yeah, man. I enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your day, okay?